ASTM is the American Society for Testing of Materials. It's a group of volunteers, about 30,000 volunteers. We're all in the industry. ASTM was started right at the end of the century, 1898, as the Western expansion was going on, and they were finding that there were quite a few problems with the railroad system. So a group of people got together and said, okay, what can we do to improve the rails, the actual steel rails? What do we have to do to improve those rails? So a group of men got together, created a society, and basically what they decided to do was they were going to set standards and establish ways of testing those, or setting those standards and testing materials so that we would have a better rail system. As time went on over the 120 years, the group has now grown to 30,000 volunteers, and they set something along the lines of 12,500 different individual standards. OSHA does not specify any ASTM standard. OSHA basically says to the employer, what you have to do is you have to look at your work environment and you have to evaluate your work environment and make sure that your employees are protected from environmental risks, workplace risks. So OSHA just basically lays out the requirements for the employer to protect employees. What ASTM does, it's completely different from OSHA. OSHA does not call for any particular ASTM standard. So for the footwear, we have the 2413 committee, and that committee is made up of folks that are interested in occupational footwear. Some of the members are manufacturers, some of the members are users, and then some of the members are in the area of academics that know standards. So about 4 or 5 times a year, the committee gets together and they review the standards for occupational footwear, basically safety footwear. So we look at things such as what would cause injury to the toe. So there's impact, there's compression, there's also a standard for metatarsal, so something should fall on the forefront or the metatarsal part of your foot. Then also within that standard, we discuss electrical or issues with how energy or electricity flows on and off the body. So we have the ESD standard, and we also then have the electrical hazard standard. The committee now is working on slip resistance. They've been doing that for quite some time, and in the future there'll be an ASTM 2413 standard for slip resistance. For protective toe caps, there's 2 types of tests. There's the impact and there's the compression. So the impact would be, for example, if you were to drop a hammer, if you're working with a hammer and it should fall on your toe, how does the protective toe protect you from that type of injury? The compression would be for, let's say, somebody that's working in a warehouse and the forklift comes along and you're looking off to your left, forklift comes along from the right and rolls over your foot. So that's a compression. So the standard is set up. It's a impact and compression standard, class 75. And basically the class 75 for impact is, to get very technical, 75 foot-pounds. So they're testing to see how the toe would work, how the toe protects your foot, the protective toe, when a impact of 75 foot-pounds falls on your foot. Now 75 foot-pounds is essentially a 50-pound weight lifted 18 inches up, dropped on the toe. Then basically what they do is after the impact, they measure the inside of the toe, see what the depression is, and so long as it maintains the correct distance, it's determined that it has passed that standard. So we test for both impact and compression, class 75.
Who's your safety shoes partner?